right now, as you're listening to this, there's this invisible leak in your business.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a huge one.
Right. It's not a dripping pipe or, a cracked heat exchanger. It's a ringing phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the ultimate silent killer for a local service business. You don't always see the money you're losing because it never hits your ledger.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Let's set a scene that's probably, well, painfully familiar. It's 2:00 p.m. on a Tuesday. Your crew is like elbow deep in a commercial rooftop HVAC unit, or maybe a total bathroom gut.
And your office, which, let's be honest, is technically your truck, gets 3 calls in 40 minutes.
Right. And you're balancing on a ladder, both hands are busy, so you physically just can't answer. 2 of those calls go to voicemail.
And by the evening...
Yeah, by the evening, you climb down, check your phone, and those 2 callers have already booked with a competitor. You didn't just miss a conversation, you likely just handed $2,000 directly to the guy down the street.
It's just draining your bottom line every single day. We're talking about the dreaded dial tone, that endless ringing that just ends in a sterile voicemail beat.
Exactly. And that is our mission for this deep dive. Today, we're exploring the rapidly evolving world of front office AI automation for local service businesses.
Which is a complete game changer.
It really is. We're going to look at how this technology is completely replacing that missed call, what it actually costs compared to hiring a human employee, and how it transforms everything from reception and dispatch to long-term retention.
Yeah, the whole life cycle.
So, okay, let's unpack this, because the massive financial leak caused by missed calls is just staggering when you stop guessing and actually look at the data.
The numbers are incredibly sobering. I mean, industry data reveals that home service businesses lose roughly 27% of their incoming calls.
27%, just gone.
Just completely lost to the ether. And it gets substantially worse when you analyze the consumer behavior part of it. When callers actually hit a voicemail during normal business hours, 80 to 85% of them don't even leave a message.
Wow. I mean, I guess it makes sense, because if they have a flooded basement or their AC is dead in the middle of an August heat wave...
They're not going to wait.
Right. They aren't going to patiently wait around for you to finish your current job. They just pull up their phone, hit back on the browser, and call the next contractor on the list.
Precisely. Now, let's do the math on that 27%. Depending on your trade, an average job value usually ranges anywhere from, say, $300 to $1,200.
Right.
So if you're missing just a couple of calls a day, a business can easily lose $126,000 or significantly more over the course of a single year, just to unanswered phones.
That's insane.
It's a defensive necessity at this point to figure out how to plug that hole.
And a lot of business owners listening might be thinking, well, hold on. I pay thousands of dollars a year for premium field service software. Doesn't that solve this?
The software dilemma?
Yeah, because most service-specific software tries to do absolutely everything to run the organization right.
Right, but there's a catch.
You buy this massive platform, and it is phenomenal at back-end operations. It handles invoicing, tracks truck inventory, runs your dispatch boards, but it's entirely passive.
It waits for you to tell it what to do. Where those massive platforms fall short is the front office, the conversational real-time handling of a panicked human being on the other end of the line.
Because traditional software requires a human operator to physically listen, parse the info, and input the data.
Exactly. So the accepted solution is just to hire a human dispatcher or a receptionist.
But let's look at the reality of those costs. A human receptionist working a standard 40-hour week costs roughly $3,200 a month in baseline salary.
And that's before benefits.
Right. For health benefits, payroll taxes, coffee breaks, sick days, and, the glaring fact that they lock the door and go home at 5:00 p.m. on Friday.
And that 40-hour limit is the crux of the issue. A burst pipe does not respect business hours. Conversely, modern AI voice automation scales perfectly with your call volume, and it never clocks out.
So what's the actual cost difference then?
To put it in perspective, if you run a pilot program handling about 1,000 minutes of active conversation, an AI system can cost as little as $60 to $150 a month.
Wait, really? $60?
Yeah. And even if you're a massive enterprise-level operation running fleets of trucks with huge call volumes, you might only be looking at around $1,100 a month.
So it's a fraction of the cost of a single human employee, but with infinitely more availability.
Exactly.
Okay, I hear the math, but I have to push back a little bit on the psychology of this. If a human dispatcher's main job is to build rapport, to be that friendly, empathetic voice, aren't we risking the local feel of a business by handing the phone over to an algorithm?
It's a fair concern.
Because it feels a bit like replacing a knowledgeable boutique hotel concierge with a vending machine.
What's fascinating here is that consumer behavior data actually completely contradicts our assumptions about this. Studies show that 55 to 65% of customers prioritize an immediate AI interaction over the traditional back and forth of waiting for a human to call them back.
Really? So sheer speed actually beats the friendly small talk.
In the local service industry, absolutely. When a homeowner has water pouring through their kitchen drywall, they do not want a chatty concierge.
No, they want a mop and a plumber.
Right. They want to know that someone is coming to fix it right now. In emergencies, speed beats rapport every single time. And modern AI isn't a robotic phone tree where you press 1 for service.
Right, it's not the DMV.
Exactly. It's completely conversational. It listens, it understands semantic intent, and it provides immediate reassurance that help is on the way.
So let's actually trace this. Let's follow a single customer through this entire funnel to understand how this works day to day. A lead comes in. The AI is essentially acting as your receptionist, your dispatcher, and your sales development representative.
Yeah, your SDR.
Right. In the tech world, they call it an SDR. But for a roofing or HVAC company, this is basically your ultimate instant lead qualifier.
Let's focus on that immediate qualification function because this is where businesses literally make or break their revenue. There's this well-documented concept known as the 5-minute rule.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, a massive study by the Harvard Business Review showed that if you respond to an inbound lead within 5 minutes, you are 21 times more likely to qualify that lead compared to waiting just 30 minutes.
21 times. That is a cliff, not a curve.
Exactly. And if you wait an hour, statistically, the lead is completely dead. Now, apply this to how local businesses get leads today. You're probably buying leads from shared lead generation marketplaces, right? Those platforms take a homeowner's request and sell that exact same lead to 3 to 5 different contractors in your zip code at the exact same time.
So the homeowner hits submit on a web form, and 5 different contractor phones start ringing simultaneously. It is literally a foot race.
And the first voice they hear wins the job, while your competitors are still on their ladders, wiping grease off their hands, trying to get to their cell phones.
Your AI answers instantly.
Yes, it effectively becomes an inbound qualifier that gathers the details and books the job before the competitor even realizes their phone rang.
But it isn't just taking a message like an old-school answering service, right? Because an answering service just says, I'll take your name and have a tech call you back. That doesn't stop the homeowner from calling the next guy.
Correct, and that is the critical difference. The AI actually functions as a dispatcher using a mechanism called adaptive capacity.
Adaptive capacity, how does that work?
It doesn't just blindly offer calendar slots. It integrates directly with your existing field service CRM via an API. It's constantly pinging your dispatch board in real time. It checks geographic zones to calculate drive times between jobs.
Oh, wow. So it knows where the trucks are.
Yes, and it cross-references technician skill sets. It knows that Technician A is legally certified for commercial refrigeration, but Technician B only does residential plumbing.
So it's basically doing multivariable algebra in half a second.
Exactly, weighing all those factors and booking the appointment directly into the correct technician schedule.
Okay, that makes sense for a routine Tuesday afternoon booking. But what about the curveballs? Let's go back to that 2 a.m. burst pipe scenario. A standard calendar booking float isn't going to help someone who's standing in 3 inches of freezing water in their pajamas.
And this is where the natural language processing of the AI really shines. The AI detects the urgency based on 2 things: the caller's tone and the semantic weight of the specific keywords they use. Words like flooded, gushing, or emergency.
It doesn't just hear the words, it understands the context.
Exactly. It realizes this falls outside the standard booking parameters, so it bypasses the normal scheduling flow entirely. It gathers the critical address, assesses the safety of the situation, and immediately triggers an automated text or phone call to wake up your on-call technician.
All while keeping the customer on the phone.
Yes, verbally reassuring them that an emergency unit is being dispatched right now.
That is incredible. But let me play devil's advocate here. What happens if the AI encounters a really heavy regional accent? Or, what if the caller has terrible cell service? Or there's a jackhammer going off in the background? Does the AI just freeze up and hang up on them?
It's a great question, and honestly, it's something that held this technology back for years. But today, these systems use advanced noise gating and whisper models. The AI separates the frequencies of the human voice from the background jackhammer or the static of a bad connection.
Oh, that's wild.
And because it uses contextual language models, even if it misses a specific syllable due to a heavy accent, it infers the meaning based on the rest of the sentence, exactly like a human brain does.
That actually brings up another big question. Why is this only happening now? We've had chatbots and automated phone systems for years, and they were, well, universally terrible. We've all screamed representative into our phones. Why is this suddenly a viable, smooth experience?
It all comes down to latency. Latency is the time it takes for the AI to process what you said, query the database, generate a response, and speak it back to you. Psychologically, humans are extremely sensitive to conversational delays. We refer to the awkward pause in a digital conversation as the Zoom moment.
Yes, like conversational double dutch. If the rope's rhythm is off by a fraction of a second, you trip. When you're on a video call and there's a delay, you both end up talking over each other and apologizing. Human brains are just hardwired to trip over that lag.
Exactly. Behavioral science shows that anything over an 800 millisecond delay creates that Zoom moment. It feels robotic, it breaks the illusion, and it makes the caller trust the system less.
Right, you instantly know you're talking to a machine.
Yeah. The breakthrough, the entire reason this is affordable and effective right now, is that top-tier AI processing latency has finally dropped below that psychological threshold. The computing power is now so fast that modern voice AI responds in about 500 to 600 milliseconds.
So it's essentially instantaneous.
Yeah.
The caller doesn't have to awkwardly pause to wait for the machine to catch up.
Right. The conversation flows organically. That specific technological hurdle being cleared is what makes this viable for a front office deployment today.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. We've been talking entirely about inbound calls, playing defense when someone calls you. But the AI can actually go on the offensive.
Oh, definitely.
Imagine a homeowner fills out a, quote, form on your website at 8:00 p.m. for something routine, like an annual furnace tune-up. The second that web form is submitted, the AI can trigger an outbound call to that prospect.
And that changes the dynamic entirely. You aren't waiting for them to check their email the next day. You are proactively engaging a warm lead while their intent to buy is at its absolute peak.
They hit submit on their laptop, and their phone rings 10 seconds later to get them on the schedule.
It's incredibly powerful.
But, winning that initial job is really only half the battle. We need to move from the front-end acquisition, getting the job, to what happens after the technician leaves. How does this AI function as a customer service representative or a customer success manager to drive long-term retention?
Right, because for a local business, a CSM is basically that ultimate proactive office manager who makes sure a one-time customer becomes a customer for life. Retention is where the true lifetime value of a customer is realized, but it requires relentless, consistent communication. The problem is that human account managers or office staff waste a staggering amount of their week. Research shows up to 60% on manual data entry.
60%.
Yeah, they are copying notes from the technician's iPad into the main CRM, updating spreadsheets, and sending repetitive follow-up emails.
Right. They're basically acting as highly paid, extremely inefficient human routers for data.
Exactly. AI flips this ratio completely. By automating the data entry, the scheduling, and the routine touchpoints, it frees up your human staff to handle high-level strategy and the complex, empathy-driven dispute resolutions that actually require a human touch.
Tell me how the AI tracks that relationship, because I saw something in the research about dynamic health scoring. How does an algorithm know if a customer actually likes my business?
Dynamic health scoring is essentially the AI constantly monitoring the pulse of your relationship with a client. It isn't just looking at whether their credit card cleared. It analyzes multiple data points simultaneously.
Like what kind of data points?
Well, for instance, it can read the transcripts of past phone calls and analyze the sentiment of support tickets using natural language processing.
Hold on, though. If you're relying on sentiment analysis, what happens when a customer uses sarcasm? Let's say a tech tracks mud all over their white carpet, and the customer emails, "Oh, great job, guys. Really appreciate the new brown stains." Is the AI going to think they're thrilled and send them a referral link?
That is exactly why legacy chatbots failed. But modern large language models, or LLMs, handle this beautifully. An LLM has a massive context window. It understands irony and sarcasm because it analyzes the entire context of the communication, not just isolated positive words like great or appreciate.
So it actually gets the jokes, so to speak.
Yeah, it recognizes the juxtaposition of great job with brown stains and correctly flags the sentiment as highly negative.
Okay, so it accurately flags them as angry. What does it actually do with that information? Does it just sit on a dashboard as a red blinking light?
No, it takes autonomous protective action. If it detects that frustration, the AI will automatically pause all promotion and marketing to that specific customer for 14 days.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Because the absolute last thing an annoyed customer wants is a cheery, automated email asking them to refer a friend or buy a maintenance plan.
Right. There is nothing worse than getting a generic marketing blast from a company you're currently fighting with over a botched repair. It just shows they aren't paying attention.
Precisely. It protects the brand by pausing the marketing and simultaneously queues up an urgent, high-priority task for a human manager to personally call, follow up, and repair the relationship. It intercepts the problem before it escalates into a canceled contract or a blistering one-star online review.
And on the positive side, it handles the life cycle follow-ups too, right? Because following up when things go well is just as important.
Yes. The AI can automatically trigger a check-in call or text exactly 7 days after a job is completed, just to make sure the new unit is running perfectly. It can run 30-day milestone reviews for larger commercial maintenance contracts.
I also love how it handles what the sources called about-to-sleep accounts. These are the customers who used you once or twice, but haven't booked a recurring service in a while.
Right. They aren't angry. They are just slowly drifting away to your competitors because they forgot about you.
And instead of sending a generic, easily ignored, "we miss you" email blast, the AI acts surgically.
Yes. It sends highly personalized SMS re-engagement offers based on their specific past usage. If they used you for a spring AC tune-up 3 years in a row but missed last year, the AI sends a text specifically referencing that history and offering a frictionless one-click way to book it again.
It makes the customer feel deeply known and remembered by the business, even though the entire process is automated. So bringing this all together, what does this all mean for the everyday service business owner listening right now? We've covered the lost revenue of the dial tone, the SDR speed, the complex dispatching, the retention. What is the ultimate takeaway?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what you are really getting back isn't just save payroll dollars. You're getting organizational capacity. You are buying back time and absolute focus.
Yeah, that bandwidth is invaluable.
The AI handles the repetitive, high-volume structural infrastructure of the business. It handles the scheduling, the geographic routing, the basic follow-ups, and the tedious data entry. And because those plates are spinning automatically and flawlessly, your human staff is finally free to handle the actual human relationships.
They finally have the bandwidth to resolve complex disputes, to upsell higher-margin services, and to build the kind of fierce local loyalty that software alone can never generate.
Exactly. It elevates the human workers by removing the robotic, mind-numbing tasks from their plate.
That makes total sense.
And, before we wrap, there is one final thought I want to leave the listeners with. Implementing AI in a local trade business isn't about replacing the blue-collar workforce with robots.
Right. It's an enhancement, not a replacement.
Instead, it's about elevating the perception of the trades. It allows a two-person plumbing operation to project the operational flawless responsiveness of a Fortune 500 company, fundamentally changing consumer expectations for local services.
That is such an incredible way to look at it. It completely levels the playing field. So the next time it's 2:00 p.m. on a Tuesday and your hands are full on a job site, ask yourself, is your business actively growing in the background, or is it just ringing out to a dial tone? For those of you listening who are realizing just how many calls you might be missing while your crews are out in the field, here is exactly how you can see this in action for yourself. Ed Becker builds these. Call his live demo line at 870-641-6520, answer a few questions about your business, then role-play a call to your own front desk and hear it work. Or go to demo.edbecker.pro or emailed at edbecker.pro.